If someone don't like us, so what? Someone tells us, you know what, you're a failure. Well, so what? And it's not that you just say, so what? It's saying, so what? Because you know that God has you. And that's the key part of the so what principle. Is so what to the things that the world tells you and more focused on what God would have you to do. Especially people who, want to take their lives because they're not getting enough likes on Facebook. You think about it when people get depressed because their friends are freezing them out. Think about it when people are like, man, my life ain't worth nothing because I haven't done A, B, C, and D. And those are the times we got to think about what God wants us to do and just say, so what to the world? Welcome to our podcast today for tomorrow. I'm Pastor Rod.
And I'm Martell Fletcher.
All right, well, as you can see, Martell feels pretty good today. Martell, what is our topic for today, man?
It's one that you introduced. You told me it's called the So What Principle. It came from your friend Jerome.
It did.
Right?
So I can't take credit for it. So Jerome broke it down for me. And it is the So What Principle.
The So What Principle.
And maybe it needs a little explanation because when he said it to me, I'm like, what are you trying to say? But what he was getting at was that, we need to use the word so what where it fits. And basically it's like, okay, if someone don't like us, so what? If, someone tells us, you know what, you're a failure. Well, so what? And it's not that you just, kind of say, so what? It's saying, so what? Because you know that God has you. And that's the key part of the so what principle. Is so what to the things that the world tells you and more focused on what God would have you to do. So I was like, man, we need to talk about the so what principle because I think about that when you look at especially people who, want to take their lives because they're not getting enough likes on Facebook. You think about it when people get depressed because their friends are freezing them out. You think about it when people are like, man, my life ain't worth nothing because I haven't done A, B, C, and D. And those are the times we got to think about what God wants us to do and just say, so what to the world and what they're talking about.
Yeah. No, I think that's really important. And I think this is, did he say did he get it from somewhere else?
I think he made it up, but we're going to give it to him right now. So this is the Jerome So What Principle.
Congratulations. You are famous for a principle. Wow. The So What Principle sounds like something that should be on a poster in high school. Yes. It sounds like something that would be in the background of when you get into the office.
Yes, yes.
Because it's something that I feel like people don't just do. Because, we get hung up on so many things. Anxiety has run rampant through the country, through the world.
Yes.
And it's all because we're focused on things that we're majoring in the minor things.
Yes, yes.
And we're focused on things that don't really matter in the grand scheme of things.
And those are the times we should say,
so what?
So what?
So what? It's like, and just like what you were saying, it's like I could go through, I wake up, say I'm in high school, wake up, put on my clothes, I'm trying to, get the nicest brands. I gotta make sure that I look a certain way, feel a certain way, act a certain way, so that I can impress these people at school. And I'm doing all this stuff, which is far from who I actually am authentically. But I'm doing these things to fit in. And in reality, the people that I'm trying to fit in with is not my crowd in the first place.
Yes.
So I'm always reaching for something that's not there. I'm never gonna get that validation that I'm looking for because that's not my crew. That's not my crowd.
No, it's not even your identity.
It's not even my identity.
No.
So the real answer to that is so what?
So what?
So what they don't like me?
Exactly.
So what I don't have that brand that you're wearing? So what? I don't fit into that club.
Yeah. So
does
what?
it matter? I mean, I always do. I'll trademark this one.
This is the Martell principle.
I call it the 100-year rule.
Okay, go ahead.
If I'm crying about something, if I'm focused on something, if I'm really working really hard on something, or if I'm just flat out stuck on something, if this thing wouldn't matter 100 years from now, then does it matter today?
Wow. Okay. I like that 100-year rule. So the Martell 100-year rule.
Put that on me. I'll take it.
No, but that's real because what you're saying it doesn't have legs. It doesn't have. It's for something to last 100 years, it has to have meaning. It has to have foundation. It has to have
some true substance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like a building. I mean, if you build a straw house, it's not going to last long.
No.
But if you build a brick house, it's going to last. People will be able to use it, to be able to see it, to be able to experience it. And that's really deep. I mean, I like that.
So if I'm about to jump off of a building, if I'm about to switch schools, if I'm about to get into a fight because someone doesn't like the way my nose is shaped, their opinion of me won't matter. It won't matter tomorrow. It won't matter when I graduate.
You're right. It won't. It's so superficial. So it's like, I guess one of the things, and he didn't define this principle. Let's break it down into pieces. And so one piece is kind of what you talked about. Things that don't last, things that don't have any like true root. Why are we worried about it? So what? Why is it an issue?
Yeah.
Now, I want to throw another curve at this. As you were talking, I was thinking about so what in this respect too. So let's look at those individuals who are rolling. They got the money, they got everything. They got the cars, they got it all. They got the world the way we see it. I think we should ask, like, so what to that too? Because if that becomes a person's identity, if that becomes who you are, that you got to be the man or the woman, you got to walk in with the red bottoms, you got to be like, hey, everybody got to watch you, you got to be the influencer, and that's who you are. It's really like, well, so what?
So what? And the thing about that is, again, you missed the ball.
Yes.
Completely.
Yeah.
You might have you were finally able to impress those people that you've been trying to impress your whole life. But so what? who their opinion of you didn't matter before. No. It surely does not matter now.
Because those individuals that are coming up under you or trying to get next to you, why are they doing it?
Why are they doing it? Are they gonna, did they create you and give you your purpose? Does their opinion determine your direction in life?
No. The reverse has actually happened, really. That person allows them and allows their opinion to mean something in their life and try to direct their life. But if it was about, hey, if they said, so what? They would make their purpose something totally different. I guess that's the other piece too we better touch on, because, all right, we talked about what we should, why we shouldn't focus on certain things and, how the identity and all that. So what should we be concerned about? What should we be like, okay, yeah, I need to focus on that. I need to make that my priority. Because people need to be clear what we should focus on.
What matters. Like what,
what matters.
Actually matters.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, I mean, it's as simple as everything that is outside of what God has created you for is not for you. Yeah. It's not for you to worry about.
Now, you are absolutely right. But Martell, I thought you was going to give me a more elaborate
well, I said as simple as this.
Okay, all right.
I'll break it down.
No, but you're absolutely right. But give me a little more context to that, though. All right.
Because, okay, so if I'm sitting here concerned about all these different people's opinions. I'm concerned about what career path I'm going to take, what major I'm going to do in school. I'm concerned about what I'm going to wear, what I'm going to eat. I'm concerned about how many kids I'm going to have, if I'm going to get married one day. Yeah. I'm concerned about all these things. But if I shift my focus onto, okay, I consulted with the creator. I checked in.
Yeah. I like the little finger thing. Is that tickling guy? I don't know.
Come here.
All right.
I consulted the creator, and he told me that this is my makeup. This is what I'm built to do, and this is the direction that I should be going in. Now I know that the only things that really matter in my life, and the things that will that I'm most suited to do, that will get me the most fulfillment, that will get me the most joy, where I'm going to see the most success, is only in this direction. Therefore, everything outside of it, who cares?
Who cares? So what? So what? And I love how you frame that, because it really comes down. It is very simple, but I'm glad you gave the pieces to it, because when we're focused on what God has for us, and we let our identity be based on God, not the world, not man, we have clarity. We know what we should major in. We know where we should be working. We know who we should be in a relationship with. We know our purpose in life. And everything else, like you said, is like, well, who cares? You know, it's like, hey, why am I going to care about this person over here who I barely know, what they think about me? Why should that influence me when that's not the person that God put in my life for a purpose? You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you just discard a person, but the point is, that's not what God want me to do. So
their opinion isn't gonna. Going back to it, it's like their opinion doesn't determine your purpose.
No, it don't.
Their opinion doesn't change what you were created for.
No.
Therefore, their opinion is all up to them.
It is.
Ain't got nothing to do with you.
So, but if we allow it to get in us and direct us, and not just say, you know what?
Who am I being led by at that point?
It's self. Yeah, you're right, and that's. I think we need. Let's go there. We care about what other people think about us because we're worried about how we're being perceived. We're worried about ourselves. What's the word? Identity, maybe, or fitting in, or like you said, insecurities. All these different things. Self is really kind of what causes us to allow other people to try to impact what we do and say because we want their approval.
You wanna build a rock solid self-esteem that can never be shaken or shattered by any sort of opinion or jab at you? The only way, this is for all my high schoolers, this is for all of my people out here, the only way to build a rock solid self-esteem is to read what God has already said about you.
Wow.
A God that does not change.
Yes.
A God who thinks of you very highly and loves you and created you for amazing things on this planet for a particular reason.
For a purpose, yes. That's where you're right. He has created, and he has created, and we are his children. And God loves every last one of us. And I guess that's what gets kind of like forgotten about. But at the same time, too, the only way you're going to know that is if you allow God in.
Yep.
I mean,
everything else, Rodney. Everything else, then you're walking on sand.
Yeah.
You're walking on sand there.
Yeah.
Your whole self-image is built on sand. That means that you slipping and sliding. Somebody says, I actually don't like your shirt.
And it ruins your whole day.
Ruins your whole day. You don't know what to do.
And you're upset at that person. You go buy another shirt. You never wear that shirt again.
Or I don't like your nose.
Yeah.
And now I got to go get surgery.
Exactly. and get it. And I guess one thing I want to make clear too to everybody that's watching. Look, Martell and I are not perfect. We're not.
Right.
Now, we I don't know about Martell. I can speak for myself. I fall into that trap sometime where it's like, oh man, I need to wear this or that or whatever. And you like, okay, you get some good feedback. Oh, okay, cool.
Oh yeah.
So we all.
Ooh. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You got something hot. Go ahead.
Well, what I'm saying is like it's crazy because we'll think okay, when they talk bad about me, shake it off. It don't matter.
Yeah.
But when they talk good about you, understand that that's also not for you either. Yeah. That's another opinion.
It is.
Did God make that, or did man make that?
Exactly.
So you can get, and when you take all of the praise, and you're like, oh, I'm not going to listen to all the bad stuff, but I'm gonna just take all the good stuff. They think I'm cool. They think I'm sexy. They think I wear nice clothes.
Yeah.
That's great. And then now you start to fulfill that prophecy in your own head, because this is how they see me. So this is how I am. This is who I am.
And that's how you get the swollen head.
Now you get the swollen head. And now you're doing things just to support someone else's opinion of you and neglecting who you really are.
So that praise starts to become an addiction, right? You start to crave it. Yeah, this is going a lot of different directions.
We're
But
not worried about likes.
no, we're not worried
Okay.
about. No, you can't be worried about likes, and that's where the whole so what we talk about the so what principle. Hey, it's like so what to them things that are worldly and try to either tear you down or build you up, and yes to those things that are linked to God's purpose for us.
Right.
And identifying those, because those the things we need to say so what for are, and we started out by this. I mean, it's too many people deciding to take their life because someone's telling them that they're not adequate or they don't look good enough.
Mm-hmm.
We got to learn to say so what.
Yeah, and I think, again, talking to like the younger audience, your parent might be telling you that you're not good enough.
Oh wow! no, Jerry.
You might have went to your uncle, your aunt's house, and they might be telling you you're stupid, you stink, your dad is dumb, and he's always
never
been
gonna
this
be
way.
nothing. You're never
You ain't
gonna be nothing
because he was never nothing.
Yes.
Now we are leading the kids in the wrong direction. Now they're thinking that, oh, well, because my father was this way, that's how I'm going to be as well. My aunts don't think I'm going to be anything, so who cares if I do drugs?
So their self-esteem is way down here. So now they go out seeking that validation, seeking someone to love them, seeking someone to tell them they're okay, and they look fine and all that, and then they start to crave it. So that is one of the things that kind of, I didn't think about the house piece. You're right. That actually really starts at home.
Dangerous.
It does.
Dangerous, because then it becomes a cycle. They're just going to keep doing the same thing. They're going to grow up, do the same thing to somebody else, and now we've just got a bunch of people who are, their whole life and identity is based on some flimsy stuff that's not even true.
Wow. I mean, what you just hit on is really, I think, the start of the root of this, because the opposite of that is those households where the parents are feeding their kids, hey, you can do it, giving them, hey, trust God, and giving them a true, I guess, I shouldn't say identity because it's not their identity, but letting them know, hey, you know what? You have a purpose, and you okay the way you are. Yeah. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I'm having flashbacks because I think, and parents don't necessarily do it on purpose, but that whole thing, like, you feel like you're a failure sometimes. The way parents can talk to kids, they make them feel like they're a failure and they can't do nothing right.
A lot of what I've seen, and I'm not a parent, y'all.
No, I'm not either. I'm not either.
But a lot of what I've seen and what I've heard, like, talking to, young folk and talking to people, peers, and seeing it, is they like reflect who their failures onto their kid.
Their kids.
It's like, well, I was never able to do that, so you're probably only going to get to this point in your life. Yeah. So don't shoot for that. Don't shoot for that. There's no way you're going to get it.
Yeah. It's out of sight for you.
It's out of sight. It's out of sight. Don't just forget about that. Hoop dreams, football. Don't worry about that. I tried it already. Broke my leg. It's not in our genes.
Yeah. And I guess the flip side too. We're talking about that parent. But we also got those parents, and I think I got a friend that he works with his boys and all that. That's the opposite, where I think he's giving them an identity. They study the word. You know what I mean? They're learning what their real purpose is. So it goes both ways. And man, this topic is when we first started, I thought, man, it's gonna be a quick episode. But now as we sit here and talk, I'm like, man, we could talk about this all day long.
Man, if I can just throw one more thing into this. I'm not a parent. I've never read any books on parenting. Okay. I don't know. But you are a child. I am a child. Right.
Somebody's child. You're somebody's child.
I'm somebody's child. Yeah. And actually, I'm going to use that angle for it. Okay. The beautiful thing about how I was raised is it wasn't necessarily you're going to be this, or because I believe this, you need to read the Bible, and you need to watch this programming because this is going to make you think this way. And it also wasn't you're just worthless and useless and you'll never be able to be anything. It was more so, this is the word. This right here, this thing right here can tell you who you are. It can show you the way. Yes. Now then God starts to form my identity, and it's not my parent or someone telling me who I am. It's God revealing it to me.
Yeah, so you learn by getting close to God who you are.
It's like, and we always have the most power when we are who we are authentically.
Yes.
When we are just ourselves.
You're right. And, I just think about, I don't know if you ever heard the term imposter syndrome. And, and what it is like people can get in positions sometimes. And it could be where they should be, but they feel like, man, I'm really not qualified, or I shouldn't be here. So it's called imposter syndrome. But when you where God wants you to be, you understand it's not you.
Yeah.
It's God that's doing it. And that's why it works. Because God, when you work in God's purpose, He's going to give you everything you need. He's going to get the credit, and you give Him the credit because it's like, hey, I couldn't do this myself. But when we start to feel like it's us, that's when the trouble starts. And I love the fact that, hey, you're putting the word out there and let the word, God determine who you are.
Let the word do its work.
Yes.
It's going to do it.
Because a friend of mine used to say the Bible stands for basic instructions before leaving earth. Mm-hmm. And it really is. It also tells you and gets you closer to God because you get to know who He is and how He operates.
Yeah, the Bible speaks for itself.
It does. It does. It does, Martell. Hey, well, look, man, I think we dug into the so what principle.
Yeah, I think there was plenty of fruit.
Yes.
In this episode, and I certainly hope that it helps somebody to discover their identity and really get a solid foundation so that they can again have that rock solid identity of who they really are.
And know when to say so what.
And then know when to say so what.
Don't say it to your parents. All right.
Bad idea.
Or your boss. But all right,
yeah, we've got the Today for Tomorrow podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm Martell.
I'm Pastor Rod.
We hope to see y'all next week.
Peace.